Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today I am joined with Steve and c0ldbru. I thank you so much. These guys are behind my two favorite things at DEF CON, which were the little ducks and this little keyboard, which has provided hours of fun for me. I'm not gonna lie, this has been so cool for me. So thank you for finding the podcast and reaching out, because I really did want to talk to you guys, because both of these things were so much fun for not just myself, but all my friends that we were with as well. We spent a lot of time on both of these things. Nice. And I've been blowing it up as much as I could, because I don't know, I think what you did was amazing. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and then how the ducks and the kind of keyboard stuff came to be.
Sure. Steve, you want to go first, or should I?
You go first.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the ducks and the keyboards are both kind of a little bit separate, but the keyboard that you've got there, that one was actually meant to be, it was the badge for a conference that we were throwing, RatCon. That's why it says RatCon back. And so it's something where the original idea was, we post the badges and let anybody buy them. And if you solve it, it would give you the time, date, and location of RatCon. And it was kind of just a little experiment to see, like, who would actually come to this? Like, would it be fun? And so it happened, I'm trying to think now, a few months back. But we still had the leftover badges. And so we realized, we're like, well, what if we started building different firmware for these that had different puzzles and made them go to different things? So now pretty much any con we go to, we try to throw a RatCon party. And then we release a new firmware like a month in advance that's just got different puzzles in kind of a similar vein as the one that you're working on. But, they're all just keyboard-based puzzles where, you kind of have to tinker with it and just figure it out. And then if you figure it out, it'll give you the time, date, and location of that RatCon party. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how many people showed up to the party? Did you throw a party at DEF CON? I didn't get to the last clue. I got stuck at the very end.
So for RatCon itself, how many do you think we had? Like 10 to 15, something like that came?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wow.
And, some people were from out of state and everything. Like we pulled a pretty good audience of people in there. So we had a lot of fun. And then at the DEF CON party that we did, I think there was, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say how many people actually came that, like, because there were some people that we just kind of told them, like, hey, man, we're going to have this party on this time and date.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was a few.
Yeah, I think there was a couple.
That's awesome.
We didn't fully express to everybody that the firmware for DEF CON wasn't actually on.
Yeah, I did not.
Still had the RatCon
firmware. Yeah, so you have to, like, download the DEF CON firmware and install it. But
is it a different puzzle or the same puzzle with a different ending?
No, totally different puzzle.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
now
so
I got something to do this weekend.
If you look up, it's all on the GitHub for the RatCon badge, and there's different, well, not tons. I think there's like 3 or 4 different firmwares on there right now, and I'm sure we'll make another one.
Is there any type of an emulator so people can also play that don't have the little keyboard?
So we don't, but that's actually not a bad idea. I never thought about that. I mean, that's not the only one that I've made with puzzles. We had some at DEF CON there as well, and then, like, this one's another one. So this one's a full-size keyboard, but it's also got, like, basically a full CTF's worth of puzzles built into the firmware. So you can use it as a normal keyboard, and then way up here at the top, you can see, if I can do this right, there's 3 little buttons here, and that's to like on new firmware or enable the CTF mode, where different key combinations will type out different things to kind of hint you to new key combinations, which, you can...
Do you have that for sale on a website somewhere?
Not anymore. I sold out of them. So this was my first one that I did like that. And this one's the 10 keyless keyboard. And then I did a little 40 that had the same kind of idea. And then now I'm working on a 68%. It's, again, same idea, where it's just going to be a bunch of different puzzles baked into the firmware of it. But
yeah, so when I stopped by your booth at the vendor booth, and I was like, hey, what is this? Like, oh, it's it's a little keyboard, use it for macros, but it's got a puzzle built into it. It's a vastly over-engineered little keyboard. And I was like,
Yes.
sold. So I bought it immediately, and that's all I knew. And then I got home, and I'm like, how is there a puzzle in this? So I just plugged it in, and I started typing, and all of a sudden I noticed, I'm like, wait, is this a dead key? And then all of a sudden that's what started it, and I was like, oh, here we go.
That was, yeah, he gave it to me without telling me exactly what it did either. And so I was like, hey, dude, I hate to break this to you, but I think your keyboard's not working. And he's like, no, it is. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I hit another key
Five
combination
different
and it
letters.
starts doing other stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, wait, okay, so
oh,
zero,
okay.
different letters. So I started, so, okay, do you have these for sale on your website for people to buy?
No, those I sold out of as well. We
Okay.
literally we sold out of everything at DEF CON.
Wow.
I have
Yeah.
nothing left. So that was great, but yeah, now I'm like, okay, well,
There's still these which I will be peddling to the future. So more puzzle stuff.
What
So
is
this
that?
This is Jolly Badge. We only had 30 of these for sale, I think, at DEF CON because the manufacturing got pushed out up until like I got boards, I think, the Monday before we left.
Oh.
So I had like 4 days to print as many enclosures as I could and try to get as many of these to DEF CON as I could. But essentially, this is a sequential puzzle badge that challenges different, like, kind of intro to hacking skills. So some stuff online, some stuff on the badge itself, some puzzle type stuff where it's like observational, and then like some hardware hacking type stuff. So
That's rad.
kind of across the board, and with the same theme as the kind of the RatCon one, you're able to flash new firmware onto it whenever you want. And so we'll have like different updates, and it comes out of this enclosure as well. So we'll have different enclosures and stuff in the future. So you can just keep upgrading if you have your own printer, or if you want to flash the new firmwares, you'll always be able to keep updating.
Is that the bamboo one in the background there?
The X1C? Yeah.
Damn.
That thing is it's a demon, man. It's awesome.
My buddy has that, and he's like, you got to get this. Got that Creality, I'm not sure how to pronounce it right, 300, whatever. And it's fun, but man, is it annoying. And then I went over to his house, and I saw that sitting there, and I was like, oh, what is this new toy? And now I literally just held up, I sent a text to my buddy today. I'm like, I got this Micro Center gift card burning a hole in my pocket this weekend.
I mean, it's worth it. So that printed all the enclosures going up to DEF CON, and then I have a whole pile there of enclosures for pre-orders that ship out next week that I've printed since I got back, and I can rip about 6 or 7 enclosures in about 16 hours. They have 3 different filaments in them and a different support layer and stuff. So it's kind of crazy.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So where do people buy this stuff?
So mine, this one they can get from getjollybadge.com. So I can give you the link for that.
Definitely. I'll be buying one.
Thank you.
Of course.
And then all of c0ldbru stuff is through rot13labs.
Okay.
And
is it ROT or R? Okay, ROT, right? Let's make sure not 0 in there or something.
Yeah, just rot13labs.com.
For his stuff, like he said, he's gonna have to get new stuff in stock there too. So we really went hard at DEF CON and sold out of quite literally everything. So
has anybody put like a walkthrough on how to solve these badges and stuff online at all?
I don't think so. There's been a couple of reviews that people have done, like, hey, here's what I thought of the badge, but I don't think anybody's posted like the walkthrough on it.
So let me ask you this. If I were to show you my notes as to how I got, do you think I'd be ruining anything for people?
I mean, at this point, I'd say you're safe too.
Okay, cool. Because I'd love to get your opinion as to how close I am. Let's see here. So I have to move my camera because I can't see my share button.
this is like kind of like talking about the movie too after it's been out for like a year. Like it's basically past its grace period, I think, right now.
Perfect.
Since there's some more challenges that are out there.
So here is what I've kind of accomplished so far. So first I just started off noticing when I was typing the keys, and then I hit a dead key, and then I was just kind of keeping track, and then all of a sudden I'm getting weird codes. So that's when I found out when I hit the 0, that kind of starts, it's almost like holding Alt when you want to do all those Alt ASCII character type things. So I was like, okay, this is where it kind of comes. So from here, I started finding different clues depending on the different kind of combo of characters after starting it. So the binary one, that one was obviously pretty easy to solve, but obviously useless.
Yeah.
and then backwards. Honestly,
Mhm.
that took me longer, way longer than it should have to figure out.
Me too.
I figured it would for people.
Yeah. Um, and then, okay, so then those two ciphers. Now, this one here, this one I got, so I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Vigneer cipher.
Yeah, at least I
So,
think.
okay, so this is about as far as I got because you can see like this is the last clue that I have. That so it how close am I to getting to the end?
Wait, okay, hold on. Enter.
Because this I wound up deciphering two completely. So this is the full encoded message, and then depending on my key, I wound up getting like a slightly decoded one, and then some gibberish. Then I wound up getting this decoded one that I was like, oh, I think I got it. But I was like, doesn't make any sense. But then when I changed another key, now I get something that speaks more like regular English. But the look on your face tells me you haven't seen this before, which concerns me. Am I way off?
I mean, I don't remember this at all. Like I mean, it was quite a while ago, but let me pull it
So
up.
this is how I got the first thing here was that 0NTRNO0 to dump this out.
And yeah,
And
I'm
then I mean
checking
like
the firmware myself to like dig through here because I ended up having to like basically put in code comments of what each of the puzzles did because I kept
I was
forgetting
gonna
they were
I
and
was gonna
having.
say I don't know how you kept track of this because it was a challenge just to keep track of where I was going down that path of this hidden keystroke stuff.
Oh yeah, it it honestly it's funny like the firmwares they actually take kind of a while to build just because yeah, trying to keep track of each of the layers that's built into that thing,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, oops. Okay, let's see if this. Oh, that's just okay.
Because I was wondering how I was getting two different solutions based on the key, but there were real like they're words. Like they're all
Yeah, I was gonna
somehow
say
deciphering out. And this one I even got the word DEF CON in it. So then I was like, oh, this has to be the DEF CON firmware.
the secret is the last six bio password to get DEF CON points at what? I don't remember this at all.
Okay, so we'll just put this part on pause because I don't know. I'll you know what I'll do? I'll go through how I came to all that. I'll send it to you so you can tell me how just completely off I was.
Yeah,
But
you haven't open sourced it yet.
either way, this thing has been so much fun. And if the fact that there's more puzzles that I can now throw onto this thing,
Oh yeah.
I'm so stoked because I love these types of little puzzles, these little challenge things, because it's like I don't know, they're just and they're useful because now I can turn this thing into a macro keyboard, which
See,
is
and
I've been dying for.
that was our other thing was like we wanted to design something that people could actually use after the con. It
Yeah,
wasn't just like, oh, you bought it and the con happened and now it's just going to sit on your wall. And somebody they were telling me they designed or they found or something like that a 3D printed enclosure for that.
oh,
So I told him, I was like, look, man, if somebody has that, like, please tell them to open source it and put it online. I'll be happy to share it or whatever. But because I don't know how to build that kind of stuff.
that would be rad because the stability will make it
Yeah.
a little bit nicer with an enclosure on there for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And honestly, if I do another batch of them, I'll probably redesign the back picture just to like make it slightly different from the first round. But I'll probably have it include like little rubber feet or something like that, just so you can actually set it on something.
Yeah.
But
But overall, man, I think this was so much fun. I really appreciate it. This, as you can tell, I spent a lot of time on this stuff, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Trust me, this is important."
yes,
Important things.
with
Yes, very much so.
with most of the firmwares on there, it's going to be kind of like you said, where it's like if you just type all six characters, you'll be like, okay, one of these is not like the other. Okay, this is
Yeah,
for the only kind of breaking of that rule is the newest one, which is the DEF CON firmware. If you
Okay,
type 6 letters, they're going to say all 6 things.
nice.
So it
Well,
makes it.
I'm glad that because if I just would have had that firmware, I probably would have given up immediately. Because oh well, let me ask you this: on the default, I notice there's these two little buttons up here at the top. Do
Yeah,
these have any play into the solutioning of this?
not into the
Okay,
solution.
okay.
Although now I'm like, I should see if I can do that in the future. But no,
Oh,
those are really just to be able to like reset it, get it into flash mode, all that kind of stuff.
and I was able to like if I put my little hacker box thing there, it was lighting up. So this was absolutely working all the way through. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if I have a little USB cable. I can probably show you real fast. But
Yeah,
so
like on the back, it even says not an SAO port because that
yeah.
port is it's for programming.
Oh, wait, hold on.
It might
I have to
just
get the
conveniently
pins.
work for
I have to get.
the power. That's amazing. I mean, it's just all it needs is the power and the ground pins to be the correct pins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
that's what I was like. Ooh, do I need to solder some stuff in here? This is gonna get crazy.
no, and so like I specifically left that unpopulated and wrote not an SAO because I was like, oh man, I don't want people to think this is an SAO port and try to plug it in and gack up their SAO. But no, apparently it works anyway. Like I didn't even
Yeah,
notice.
yeah, it definitely works. So that was pretty awesome too, inadvertently, I guess. Look at all these cool things we're all learning together.
I know, exactly. Oh,
So when's the next RatCon?
we're not sure yet. What were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say, good question.
And so yeah, basically we had a lot of fun doing it. Everyone that came had a blast. And last time it was literally just like we picked a brewery and kind of just took over. We weren't even going to give them a heads up originally, but a buddy of mine like knew the owner and he was like, "No, let me let them know. They'll set aside some tables for you." So we're like, "Okay." But we just spent the whole day just essentially hacking away at random stuff and like showing off projects we built and just stuff like that. Just essentially like a hacker hangout and we just took over the whole bar. This year we're like, hey, what if we did something a little bigger? So we're gonna try to get an actual venue this time. We're
Oh,
gonna,
nice.
maybe talk to some people about getting actual talks in place and just kind of the stuff that you'd expect from a con. But we really wanted to keep that vibe of like just hackers hanging out, showing off things they've built, trying to learn new things, try to
Yeah,
keep that vibe.
I'm huge
Yeah.
proponent of that. I don't know if you've seen my talks on other conventions, but
Yeah.
if you need help, let me know. I'm glad to do whatever I can do to help you guys do something. I will definitely
Oh yeah.
do it.
Oh,
So
hell yeah. That would
for
be
sure.
Yeah,
awesome.
so we're finally getting to a point. I think I just messaged them earlier. I was like, I think I'm finally caught up from DEF CON. Like I finally like caught up on all the pre-order stuff. Finally caught up on most of my work stuff. Finally caught up on most of the life stuff. And so finally we're at a point now where I think that we can start kind of like thinking about what this year's is going to be. When I say this year, what 2025 is going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably late Q1, early Q2, somewhere in there,
Cool.
date wise. So
Where geographically?
somewhere in Florida, hopefully Tampa area.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Oh, I have one of my couple of my investors for my beverage business are out of Sarasota, so I will make that a business trip.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, not far at all.
Yeah, we're trying to choose somewhere that's here that will allow some amount of shenanigans and put up with us, and also is affordable enough and easy enough to get to that people. It's not like I love Wild like West Hackenfest, but dropping like $1,500 just on a plane ticket to get there is brutal.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, everyone can fly Spirit.
There you
yeah,
go.
Just don't want to. But
Hey, but it's an option though.
it's not an excuse that I can't make it. It's like, dude, it's $5 for the ticket. Just get on the plane and pay to use the bathroom or whatever.
Yep.
So let's transition to these little guys. So these little
Ducks.
ducks here. So these ducks, let me tell you how the ducks came into my life. So first off, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but there's a game out there called Abduction, where you have
nice.
this little rubber UFO, and it's full of all these little ducks, and you have to. It's you have to mix and match. It's a ton of fun. So I've been playing with these ducks for a long time already. And then all of a sudden, one of my friends at DEF CON came up to me and just held out a handful of ducks. He's like, dude, look at all the ducks I found. I was like, holy shit, dude, what are you doing? And then everyone in my little group made it a competition to see who could steal the most ducks without getting yelled at.
Yes.
Didn't care. Yeah.
So that's why you'll see people we were just taking like handfuls of them. And we're like, oh, look all these ducks we got. We were secretly just leaving them everywhere throughout Vegas. Everywhere
That's
we were going, we're
that's what
planting
we
these
wanted.
little ducks. Well, that absolutely happened.
Good.
So there were a lot. There were 30,000. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
we got drunk at B-Sides Tampa.
Yep.
And our friend Riot, who helped us with this, he he was already placing little ducks around like that, and so we had found them earlier in the con, and we were talking about them, and then we found out that it was him that was distributing them. So we were like, "Hey, where'd you get them from?" And he was like, "Amazon." So we were like, "Man, this is amazing. What if we just like got tons and tons of these and just put them out everywhere at DEF CON and just try to get like hashtag quack thing?" And so like we just like kept like evolving this idea while we're sitting down having beers at what it's called Lowry Parkade. I'm gonna drop
Nice.
that place. It's a sweet place that's in Tampa. It's an arcade bar.
Perfect. Best places
yes.
ever.
And so we were drinking beers there, and we evolved it to the idea of, I wonder if we could put QR codes on these things and have them like uniquely scannable. And at the time, we wanted to do like full like quack dealing. And we wanted people to try to get as much quack as they possibly could. And we would just like hide it and distribute it through like villages and everywhere. Well, things got busy and tougher, so we slimmed the idea down to just unlocking what you had figured out there, unlocking another image, kind of pixel
Which was
by
a
pixel.
very cool idea, I
Yeah.
have to say. That was super awesome.
But yeah, 30,000 of these were purchased from an Alibaba vendor, and I definitely made them barter with essentially another
Like, no one's
vendor.
ever going to be ordering 30,000 again. Come on, hook me up.
I don't know. I think that they sell a lot more of these than I could even imagine. So,
Wow.
and then we saw multiple groups at DEF CON this year who also had the little resin ducks. They didn't have QR
Wow.
codes on them, but
Yeah. So the QR code. So I noticed it was a QR code that was just like a shortened URL with a number. So at first we're like, sweet, we're gonna help them. We're just gonna brute force every number, and then therefore we'll open up the image. And then when we clicked on it, then we noticed, oh, that's a lookup for a unique GUID, and we're never gonna figure out that GUID.
So unfortunately, like we wanted to make it secure because we wanted it to be something where you had to scan the ducks. But I feel like
Yes.
maybe we made it too secure. Maybe there's flaws in there
Yeah.
so that people could just like open it up. But yeah, I don't know.
It was awesome. So the one question I have is because, okay, so I was actually in Vegas in May for a completely different convention called Identiverse. That's my background, is identity access management. So it's an identity conference. It's about as exciting as it sounds. And so we didn't have a booth, so I was doing some guerrilla warfare stuff. So I got 1,000 poker chips and put QR codes and NFC chips on them and littered them throughout the convention in Vegas. And you had to tap them, and there was a scavenger hunt, and that was just the beginning of the scavenger hunt. So when I saw the ducks, I was like, oh my God, someone else is doing this. This is going to be amazing. But putting those stickers on and programming it all took weeks. So
Yes.
when you're telling me there's 30,000 little stickers, please tell me they put the stickers on for you in China. I knew you were going to say that.
we actually got the stickers actually really late in the game, so that the stickers actually cost more than the resin ducks.
Really?
Just to put it out there because I don't really care.
Yeah.
The ducks were $1,000. The stickers were $1,500 because we had to get them printed from a company that like makes asset tags for like actual like hardware manufacturing and like like resource tracking and things like that. So
Well, and
we worked with them to make sure that we could do the sequential print and all that stuff, and got, I guess it's like some sort of a kind of cheap vinyl that they had. They get very expensive very quick. So
stickers are way more expensive than people think.
yeah, we paid extra for the vinyl because we were like, we want people to just like hide these around. And we're like, it's DEF CON. It's not like people are going to be putting these indoors in, you know, dry surfaces. We're like, no, these could get wet. They might go into a pool.
Beer condensation.
yeah.
Oh, we're just like, tons of shady place. Like shady things are going to happen to these poor ducks. Like we got to make sure they're protected.
That's amazing. So how long did it take to put the little stickers on?
Oh, geez. I think we had the whole thing done probably in like a week or two, but we had like 5 or 6 different families all doing it together. So, like, my wife,
Nice.
my daughter helped. Like, I know
Yeah.
the wife was like absurdly fast with them.
She did like I think my wife I think did like 6,000 or 7,000 herself.
Yeah,
So
she
You
was.
got to get into a Zen moment to make that happen.
yeah, she just watching TV or whatever at nighttime. We would just try to get through as many, and then she would just race me to see how many pages she could complete before I finished one,
Yeah.
essentially. So
I love it.
Well, and
That's
then
amazing.
we made. Oh, here, let me turn this thing on. Get it working. So we also made these,
Oh,
distributed those, and so we had 1,000 of these that we soldered by hand, and like not just the two of us. We had like a crew that came over to help us with those.
wow.
So we soldered 1,000 of those to pass out by hand, and then we sent 1,000 kits of them that we had to package up ourselves.
2,000.
Or yeah, 2,000 that we gave to the hardware hacking village and the makers community. And like literally all of this, like you had asked what was it for, and it was
Yeah.
RollerCon was
Yeah.
an event that
Wow.
we Vegas.
So if you saw the advertisements around the image that we were loading, the cheesy 90s
Yes.
gifts, those
Yes.
were all pointing towards the Get High Roller Con too. And I'm not
Nice.
sure if it's worth spoiling the ending right now for the Ducks or not.
I'm going to say yes because well, let me ask you this. You have to be able to tell if people are still scanning new ones. Is it happening?
We've had 1,700 that were scanned. Honestly, it was a much lower number than what we had
That's what I was
Yeah.
afraid of.
that it was
Yeah,
going to be.
we didn't know that until I talked to you. I had no idea, like that's what was happening until like we kind of like went back and forth a little bit, and then I realized I'm like, this is amazing. And I was like, we gotta scan all these things.
Yeah.
Well,
So we were talking about. I mean, we were super busy because we had the vendor table that we were running as well.
Yeah.
So we were pretty swamped, not to like pun the term too much, but we wanted to do it where it would unlock a few pixels like at a time, like per like minute or 2 minutes.
Okay.
But that just never ended up happening, unfortunately, because again, we ran into time constraints. We wanted to see if people would do it themselves, and then
I was really hoping the image would be like a clue to something else. Like, oh, whoever figures it out, it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, once you get to it, you get this
One.
YouTube video that I've sent to you.
It was a QR,
Oh,
and that was kind of the other fun part was that because it's a QR code, we're like, you don't need to scan all of them. You just need to scan enough to make the QR code work. And so that was our hope, was that the people would scan enough of them to realize it was a QR code and be able to kind of like not necessarily brute force, but like get it to work anyway.
right.
Yeah,
Did you have
with
enough
the
like
error
fault
correction.
tolerance in there? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice.
So,
Can I play the video?
absolutely.
Okay, let's do it. I'm excited. Let's play this thing. Let me share.
And just keep in mind while you're watching this, the amount of work that was necessary to unlock this video.
Sound is required for sure.
Oh yeah.
90 seconds later, I'm in the only room in the house where a boy of 9 could sit in privacy
movie.
and decode.
Yep.
Yeah. Are
Oh,
you
the
able to hear it?
Ah,
Yes.
B.
Yeah, I'm listening to it now. I'll have the audio
To the
over.
next.
Okay.
E. The first word is B. S.
Dude,
It
this
was
is
coming
perfect.
easier now. U. 25.
Come
That's
on,
R.
Ralphie, I gotta go. I'll be right there, Mom. Gee whiz.
T. O. Be sure to. Be sure to what? What was little orphan Annie trying to say? Be sure to what?
Randy has got to go. Will you please come out?
Forgot how long the
Right,
video
Mom.
is.
I'll be right
Oh,
out.
I should note also, we made this video
Tension was
like
terrible. What
the
was it?
night before.
The fate of the planet may
while we
hang in
were
the
all
balance.
drinking and like happy for the next day.
I'll be right out.
Well, that's how everything happens.
Almost there.
It was just
My
like
fingers
so
flew. My
last
mind
minute.
was a steel trap. Every pore vibrated. It was almost clear. Yes, 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 yes.
Go to High Roller Con. High Roller Con.
Dick butt.
From me commercial? Son of a bitch.
Crummy commercial.
I went out to face the world again,
Oh, God.
wiser.
Dude,
So
that was awesome. That
Yeah,
was so good.
like you do this tremendous amount of work, and at the very end, all it is just this really horribly edited video.
That is the best metaphor, I think, for the entire thing in the most hilarious way possible.
Yeah, like our hope was that there would have been a tremendous amount of effort by at least like a few people put into it to resolve it or even come ask us if it was solvable in some way.
So we actually were planning on. So the last talk that I was at, I couldn't hear or see anything. So I was like, okay. I was like, let's go back to the ducks. Let's just start scanning them and figure this shit out. So we were gonna go back to the pool and just start scanning ducks. That was our like the five of us. So we were just gonna sit there, and then that's when the goons decided I shouldn't be at DEF CON anymore. So that wound up never happening. So, but we were fully intending on trying to make that happen. I just wanted to let you know that this was on the top of our mind.
And see,
No,
this is the kind of stuff that we love doing at DEF CON is just like weird things that we can just put out there for people to tinker around with. You know, like that's kind of our favorite thing to do there.
Yeah, I love it, man. I'm so for what you guys are doing. I think it was the best thing out there. I mean, the badge was pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, I love the badge, but this. I love the puzzles factor and the keyboard. I'm never gonna forget about it. So,
Yeah.
I actually have some friends coming over tomorrow, and I have a deal with them where they have to get to at least, like, I forget which one, but like I think they have to solve like at least one of the reversal one, and if they can get to that point, then they can drink. So it's gonna be it's their entry.
Nice.
So yeah, the funny thing is like it's funny to see how people solve that thing because you know you solved it the way that I assumed people would and the way that I would have done it, which is just kind of like go through each
Brute force it.
yeah and just figure it out. Other people, it's like they plug it in and they'll just sit there and just mash for like 2 minutes until it types something out, and they're like, "There we go." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize it would do that."
It's the speed run version.
Buddy of mine solved the whole thing in like 2 minutes flat because yeah, he just like mashed on it until it wrote a bunch of text and he pulled out the text that was there and you know.
Well, that's like with the Jolly badge. So I put out the firmwares for it, and the same day that I shipped the pre-orders for it. And so one of the people that was getting the pre-orders was like, "Yeah, I already reversed all the firmware, so I have all the flags." And I was like, "That's the last one, dude." Like, so
That's so awesome, though.
yeah.
Well, you know, if you guys ever want help in any of this stuff, let me know. Myself and a couple friends of mine, we'd be totally down to jump in to help you guys out. We love making stuff
yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
We're not hardware guys, so I'm not that good with the hardware stuff. But like from the back end, like kind of the puzzle stuff,
Yeah.
love it. Tons of fun.
Hell yes. Yeah, especially like we're RatCon and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Anytime. So what do you guys, is there anything you guys want to plug coming up or anything about yourselves or anything that you want to just have everyone go to a certain website or do anything?
Man, I don't know.
GetJollyBadge.com.
Awesome. I will
I
be
have
there
like
right after.
70 more of these that I want to sell out of this batch and make it worth continuing to do for a long
I know
term.
3 people that will take them this weekend for sure. So
Awesome.
I guarantee you 3 more orders before Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Well, hey, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. This is why I do it. This is so much fun. I love talking to other cool hackers out there doing fun stuff and just, having fun with it all. I think that's the most important part, in my opinion. So I wanted to say thank you in person. I really appreciate all the hard work. I know how much work. Actually, I didn't know. I thought I knew. I didn't know. Now I know way more than I thought.
Oh, we drove them 2,400 miles too.
Yeah.
You drove them?
We had to
There's that part of the story too. Maybe that can be a part 2.
I was really hoping you just had like suitcases full of ducks and TSA, and you put like something in there that made it look like a bomb.
Too
So
heavy.
TSA had to feed through the ducks.
Too heavy. We had
Really?
like probably by the time that all the ducks were completed, we had filled 2 5-gallon buckets full entirely and still had an entire 2 boxes left over, like boxes left over of them. So
Holy
it got to the point of
crap.
absurdity, and plus all of our inventory and stuff, that it
Yeah.
just made sense at that point that it was a lot cheaper to just drive it out there than to fly out there and ship it and all that fun stuff.
But
And
we
then
did
not show
war
up.
drive the trip though.
What's that?
We did war drive the whole trip though.
Yeah, we wardrobe Hoover Dam, which is pretty awesome. We gave one of those
Wow.
duck SAOs to the security there because they were very interested in everything that was in our car,
Like,
obviously. So
Yeah, it was great. They, when they saw our van full of like, antennas and boxes,
Oh, yeah.
we got to search your van. We're like, okay. And so then he like points at a random box and goes, "What's in that box?" And Jeb's ducks. And she stares and he like opens it up and she's like, "Oh, how about that box?" And he's like, "More ducks," and opens it up. What?
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a good time.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what you guys put up next. And I'm going to get the Jolly Roger badge, and I'm going to download all the extra firmwares for this thing, because now that I know that, that's going to be my weekend.
Awesome.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate the time, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.